Turn over section U. Behind the door you can hear this. You open the door and are confronted by a giant snake. It attacks you at once and you have no choice but to fight. Conduct the fight now. If you win, you will discover that only the left-hand door will open. Turn over section C. As you pass along the corridor, you see a horde of rats running towards you. Will you A, fight them, or B, ignore them? If you ignore them, they will run by without stopping. If you try to fight them, they run by without stopping, leaving you looking rather foolish. Turn section B over. In this room there is a small pool with a cup by it. On the floor are 15 cards. The cards have letters on them. They seem to fit into a frame on the wall. What is the message? Will you drink from the pool? If you need more time to decide, please turn off the tape now. Make a note whether or not you drink from the pool. Turn over section R. Ahead, the corridor is dark. Will you feel your way along the left wall, the right wall, or neither? Make a note. If you choose the left, throw a 6-sided dice. Unless you throw a 6, you cut your left hand on a sharp nail in the wall. Take 1 point of damage. If you choose right, throw a 6-sided dice. Unless you throw a 5 or 6, you cut your right hand on a sharp nail. Take 1 point of damage. If you choose to walk down the center of the corridor, throw a 6-sided dice. If you throw a 1, you meet an unexpected step and take 2 points of damage on a diced location. If you throw a 2 or 3, take 1 point of damage on a diced location. If you throw 4, 5, or 6, you take no damage. Turn over section I. You open the door onto a well-lit room. In a chair in the corner sits what seems to be a small goblin-like male. He appears to be drunk. He snarls at you.
What do you want?
Will you A, answer his question, or B, ignore him, or C, attack him? Decide now. If you answer him, he gives you a bunch of keys and you may continue through the door to section J. If you ignore him, he snarls and drops a bunch of keys into a well in the corner. He then leaves by the door through which you entered. You have not made it through the gauntlet. You are locked in room I and cannot get out. If you fight him, he defends himself with a club. If you drank from the pool in room B, you are now starting to feel very ill. Your chance to hit is reduced by 10%. Otherwise, combat is normal. Use the counter and monster sheet for a goblin. Switch off the tape and conduct the combat. If you win, you take from your opponent a bunch of keys and a small bottle marked heal. Will you drink from it? Decide now. If you drank from the bottle, you may remove all points of damage from one body area, e.g. left arm or head. If you did not drink, you cannot change your mind now, so you must leave the bottle behind. Turn section J over. In this room there is an exhausted man. He appears to be unarmed. Will you ignore him or engage him in conversation? Make a note of your decision. If you ignore him, you may walk through the room using your keys to open the door. Turn over section Q. If you talk to him, he says,
Like you, I was forced to run the Zhevezh Gauntlet. My strength is at its end. I've been here for 7 months. And I've had plenty of time to reflect on my stupidity. Take me out.
Will you take him out? Make a note of your decision. Turn over section Q. You may go either straight ahead or right. On the wall to your left is written
D over X equals OK.
Which way will you go? Make your decision now. Stop the tape to give yourself time to think. Turn over section S. If you went straight ahead, you go on through the door to section K. If you went right, you went into a spear trap at X. Throw a 6-sided dice. If you throw 6, you are lucky and the spear misses. Otherwise, you are hit. Dice for location and for either 1 or 2 points of damage. Turn over section K. You enter a room with a wooden floor. On the table on the right lies a rusty iron sword. On the wall behind the table is written,
"This sword is the symbol of the power of kings and men in foreign countries."
Will you take the sword? Make a note of your decision. Turn over section M. On the table in the centre of this room is a bottle. It claims to be a healing potion. Will you use it? Decide now. If you use the potion, it will completely cure one body area, such as head, left arm, etc. Remove all damage points from one chosen area. If you choose not to use the potion, you may not change your mind and use it now or in the future. On the wall is a message. It reads,
"Just one more room, the trap is set, you haven't learned your lesson yet."
You realise that the inhabitants of Zhevezh have appalling taste and are worse poets than they think they are.
Oh, poem, eh?
As you leave the room, a club strikes from behind. If the prisoner from room J is with you, it hits him. If you were alone, it hits you. Throw a 6-sided dice. If you throw a 1 or 2, you are hit on the head. Otherwise, you are hit in the torso. The club causes 2 points of damage when it hits. Turn to section W. As you enter this room, you see the judge, Chair Lippy. She says,
You took your time getting here.
She carries a club and a sword and is wearing chainmail. She continues,
Your way out lies past me. There are 2 kinds of duel in Zhevezh, with clubs or with swords. If you have a sword, you may choose it, and only one of us will leave this room. If you have no sword, or if you would prefer it, we will fight the true duel of Zhevezh, with clubs but no armor, till one of us is unconscious.
Make your decision now. If you choose to fight with clubs, conduct the combat now. Use the concussion table to calculate the results. If you are unsure of how to work out concussion, stop the tape and reread the relevant section in the basic rules. If you choose swords and have your own sword, conduct the combat now. Stop the tape. If you choose swords and have the rusty sword, on the first blow you strike, it shatters and you take 1 point of damage in the torso. The judge, Chair Lippy, laughs at you but does not try to hit you. You will remain a prisoner without honour in the Zhevezh Gauntlet. If you fought with your own sword and won, you may now leave the room and return to the docks. Award yourself 10 honour points. You survived, but in Zhevezhian eyes you are not a very honourable character. If you fought with clubs and lost, you are carried out of the gauntlet. Award yourself 85 honour points. Your honour is restored. If you fought with clubs and won, you may leave the gauntlet. Award yourself 85 honour points. Will you carry the judge out with you? Decide now. If you take the judge out with you, give yourself another 25 honour points. If you do not take the judge out with you, deduct 25 honour points for being a churl. You had better return to your ship, but be on your best behaviour next time you come to Tutub, or any town of Zhevezh.
The true sound of adventure is the sound of Dragonroar. Standard Games proudly announces its up-and-coming adventure game spectaculars. Soon to be released are The Island of Dr. Mandamus and The Ballad of Skirin Lan. And the next step up in the line of spine-chilling adventures on cassette, The Staff of Sonora. For future reading, Standard Games will shortly be releasing The Esoteric Encyclopedia, The Dictionary of Dragons, and The Clerical Compendium. Also, currently available are Standard Games' own magnificent line of miniature characters. And finally, you can keep up to date with Standard Games' bulletin release, the Dragonroar News. If you are searching for quality, your adventure has finally ended. If you are searching for a howling good time, stay with Standard Games.